Hey good people, it's your old buddy Mark from Vintage Audio Nagoya, and I got kind of a cool one here. We got an Ace-Tone Rhythm Ace. I'm going to go through this right now. I thought I'd give you a little before look, and we'll just open it up and make sure everything's working fine. But it's just interesting how similar they are. We've got the Rhythm 55 by Roland, and we've got the predecessor, the Ace-Tone Rhythm Ace. Let's start by just taking a good look at it. It's in pretty good shape, I think. We've got some tape here for some reason. And, you know, definitely needs to be cleaned. We've got a fair amount of dust build up inside that light. A lot of dust over here. But, you know, considering it's a 77, considering its age, you know, no rust on the door. And I'm pretty pleased with the way it looks in general. So, let's start by plugging it in and see what it sounds like. I'll get it set up and let's listen to it, see if it even works. Okay, I'm plugged in and we got power. Let's turn it on, and there's a moment of truth. That's a good sign. These are really cool in that they've got this little finger. Oh, beautiful. This little finger start button. You know, it's like the old dimmer switches on the lights. So, let's get it. Well, you can see it all right. We got slow rock. Let's start here. So the balance, if you're not familiar with these, is not a balance like left or right. It's how much hi-hat you get. And you can hear how terrible that sounds. So these are adjustable, and I think we're going to go in and tweak that a little bit. Samba. Mambo. Number 5. Cha-cha. Rumba. Big green. Rock and roll. Oh, it sounds bad. That's not too bad there. But I think we're going to tweak. There's some internal pops. We'll get to those and we'll tweak that a little bit. If you hold, it won't let you do it at the same time. But if you hold one down, you can throw a little cha-cha in there. All right, slow rock. Oh, again, that hi-hat is brutal. Waltz. Up tempo, just doubles you. And then over here we got 2-beat, just bass. Bass and snare. Oh. Okay, it works. A lot going on here. So, let's get it opened up. Grab a little magnetic tool tray here. Nothing on this side, huh? All right. Well, maybe nothing here, too. We got 2 in the front. And 2 on the bottom, if I remember right. 4 or 5 on the bottom, if we don't remember right. A couple of these are cleaner than the ones that came out of the front, so I think we'll swap those out. So we just got a little bit better looking face there. All right, let's take a look inside this beast. That's what we got. A lot of pots. Okay, here's our 2 little micro pots here that we can do some adjusting on. And again, hopefully get a little bit better sound. We've got some more up here. A little bit better sound out of those hi-hats. I'm going to start by just spraying down our pots here. There was a little crackle in the volume pot, so we'll start there. I don't know how successful I am at getting contact cleaner inside those plastic covered ones, but we'll give them a little blast and hope for the best. I'm not sure how this comes out. I'm going to do a little bit of investigating here. I missing something? Boy, it seems like it should just lift out of here, but it almost looks like we have to remove these nuts in order to pull the whole thing out. So I'm not sure it's necessary. I think we're going to try to do it this way to start, and I think I can cosmetically clean it up and get it looking better without pulling everything apart. So let's plug her back in and see if we can make some tweaks. Okay, I've come to the conclusion I might have been just overdriving this thing an awful lot. If you notice, you know, the more we turn this up, the more like hell it sounds. So if we keep it here, well, my storage was full, so I'm not sure when that kicked off on me, to be honest. But let's go through and do a little cosmetic cleanup here. The way this is set up right now, it's kind of, you know, just laying in here. So just realized I still got the power on, which is not the best idea. But let's start by cleaning this up just a little bit. I hit those pots. We're going to let those soak a little while. And I got tweezers here. Going to try to get this tape off. Not 100% sure why this would have been applied. But whatever the reason, I think we can live without it. Okay. I just want to make sure. I'm going to toothbrush this a little bit, but I want to make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be getting any moisture or anything wet. I think we're good everywhere there. Looks like we can get a little bit of water around it without causing any trouble. So let's clean this up just a little bit. I'm going to try to avoid, obviously, getting anything down in those switches. But we want to clean this up. A lot of dust in there. Oh, looking better already. Now, we're going to have to push this up a little bit from the bottom. Get to that front. Again, a little water down in here isn't going to hurt anything. There's nothing electronic right below here, so get that dust and dirt out of there. I'm curious if there was any kind of an agreement, you know, if anybody knows the history behind Roland. I forget his name actually, but the man who started Roland worked at Acetone and actually started Acetone with some other investors, and they had a bit of a falling out apparently, and then he went on to start Roland. But so many of the early Roland things look just like Acetone's. Of course, he was the designer, but I never really learned how that worked, and if there was some agreement, or you would think that you just can't leave a company and then make nearly identical copies of the things that you were making at your last company. So someday I'll have to do some research there and figure out what kind of licensing agreement, or, you know, when they severed ties there, what was the deal? How did they work that out? All right, much better. Let's clean up this dusty crack. Some remnants of tape or something there, it looks like. You know, you'd like to think that everything had a really interesting life, but and who knows? But some things tell a story. You know, you get some old piece and there's all kinds of scuffs and scratches and stickers on it and a cigarette burn on the corner, and those types of machines, you just wonder if you could somehow tap into them and just get a feel for some of the nights that they lived through, some of the parties that they added to, and it'd sure be a blast, wouldn't it, to just be privy to some of that history. We can only guess. Some things, you know, they could have been just bought by an old guy who wanted to practice playing piano with some rhythm, and maybe they didn't have an exciting life at all. Who knows? But you know, some of that stuff, like I got an old, I made a video about it even. It's Space Echo RDE 1800. It's a digital Space Echo, but that thing has been through the ringer, and you could just tell that it was, you know, its paint is worn out from where the guy was picking it up. So he took it with him to so many shows, and that thing had an interesting life. You can just imagine, you know, everything that went on with that beast. Okay, I think we're pretty clean up on the top part there, and I might just screw this back together on the front so that it's not dangling down. And I've hit all the pots. It does sound all right, to be honest. I've learned that as long as you're not overdriving, it doesn't sound as bad. All the little internal pots are glued down, so you could certainly crack the glue and make adjustments, but again, as long as it's not overdriven, it sounds pretty good. What I'm going to do here is just choose the two best screw heads so we can put those on the front. Kind of a toss-up, but I think it's these two. Yeah, let's give them a quick clean here. But as long as we're going to be staring at those, we might as well get those to be the best looking ones we got. Get some of the dust out of the crevices. Got a fair amount of dust in here. We'll get this out. Certainly a lot bigger than it needed to be, but I think there was a time where you felt like you were getting more if it was a little bit bigger. You know, especially in the 40s and 50s, those big old wooden console radios, you know, you open those things up and a lot of times there's just a tiny little radio inside this massive cabinet, but, you know, it was a focal point of the living room at that point, and people felt like the bigger the better, I guess. They could have certainly made this a lot more compact, but I don't know. I kind of like the looks of these things. I like the wood. I like the acetone too. They both have their merits, as the Japanese like to say. Merit is really popular in Japanese English. This thing is apparently, you know, it's dusty, but I think it had a pretty good life. On most Space Echoes I get, these things are rusty, and the springs and the chrome is rusty, and it just, you know, to see a door in this condition is pretty unusual. Being an island nation, you're never too far from the ocean, really, and just, you know, a lot of stuff suffers from rust. But again, this is looking pretty good. Let's clean that cord up. We got a fair amount of dust up in there. I put put dates on everything I can. Sometimes I find the date on the circuit board or on some internal component, which gives you a rough idea of when it was built. But a lot of this early Japanese stuff has the dates on the cord, which, you know, makes it easy to date them. So take a look at your cords if you're ever curious as to what year you have. You might be able to see it there. This is a 1977. You can see right there, I think. And then it's a million, and there's, you know, some other codes here on it. But most of the power cords are dated, so it's a quick and easy, rough estimate of when it was built. It doesn't give you a date, I mean a day or a month, but you know, do you really need that? Okay, this isn't the most exciting video. We're not doing a lot here. We're just kind of wiping things down. So if you're still watching me wipe things down, you know, you're a trooper. Let's, I think we're going to button it back up because really, it sounds all right. There's nothing else we need to do. She's dusted. And I just hit the pot, so she should be a little bit quieter. And I think that's going to do it for this one. But I'm going to compare the sounds a little bit between the Acetone and the Roland. So I'll do that in just a minute. I'm going to take this over and clean those feet up in the sink. They're a little not grimy, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, we're cleaned up and looking pretty good. So let's put this thing back on here. Just one more check, I guess, but I think we're looking good everywhere. Nothing loose, nothing dirty, nothing leaking. It's a pretty good looking unit. So, screw her down. I'm going to clean these up a little bit. Well, could have got this a little better. And I should have done it before I put it back together, but we can still get in there. It's amazing how clean this thing is, really. This is probably a completely unnecessary step. I mean, those things are spotless, but let's just give them a little clean there. Okay, people, I think we're looking good. Actually, I'm going to hit those knobs just a little bit more with the toothbrush. And we might call her quits for this thing. I often wonder what my teeth would look like if I toothbrushed them as much as I toothbrush knobs. Probably better than they do now. All those years of smoke, I'm sure glad I gave that up too, but oh, the years of smoke and just such a unfortunate habit that was. All right, people. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm going to grab just a little bit of lemon oil, and we're going to hit these wood pieces with it. Natural lemon oil from Fernandez. Smells good. Lemony fresh. Okay, wonderful. Real wood. Well, as long as I got this, I'm going to go around the room and look for other wood. I'll be back. Okay, we're back together and looking good and sounding pretty good. And we can test the Footswitch here. We'll just plug that in. And clearly that's working good. If you don't have a Footswitch, you can make one of your own really simply. And just grab yourself an old cord. I've started using this to test the Footswitch feature just because it's easier than grabbing a Footswitch and dragging it out and plugging it in. And so just grab yourself an old broken cord or cut cord and then stick that in there and just touch the two wires together. And that's your Footswitch on and off basically. Now if you want to get really sneaky or clever, you can just throw a toggle switch on here. And or a push button switch, or again just touch the wires whenever you want to do it. So it's a quick, inexpensive Footswitch option for you. Okay, let's run through these sounds real quick and get this door shut. Again, I just love that finger switch. Okay, so here we go. Let's get you a little bit lined up here. And here we go. Bossa Nova. And again, here's our balance. It can start to sound really bad when you crank this thing, but keep it within reason. And we'll turn the tempo up just so we can hear this rhythm a little bit better. Samba, mambo, cha-cha, rumba, baguine, bagine, what is it, rock and roll? That hi-hat gets pretty sloppy. And we've been on up-tempo this whole time, but get the idea. Now again, we've done it before, but it's not programmable, but you can, add some funky little beats in there. So, you get the idea there. All right, foxtrot, bass and snare. 4-beat. Alright, thing is fucking cool. Alright, I'm going to go grab the Acetone. We're going to compare a couple sounds. Okay, I got both the Acetone and the Rhythm 55 set up to rock and roll, and the tempo is about the same. So let's listen to them. This is the Roland. Bass tone. Roland. Bass tone. Alright, let's try a different sound out. Let's go with slow rock. Slow rock. Roland. Alright, it's kind of interesting. Let's go 4-beat slow rock, 4-beat slow rock. Roland. Bass tone. Roland. Chaos, both. Alright, anyway, quick look at the differences. Let's do one more. Let's take a look at Bossa Nova and Bossa Nova. And I think we're on up tempo. Let's turn that down. And here we go. Roland. Bass tone. Alright, doesn't work together. You have to sync those bad boys up. Alright, people, I think that's going to do it. Just a quick look at the two. I thought it'd be fun to look at them side by side. Probably not the world's most entertaining video. Don't know if I've ever made one yet. Anyway, thanks for checking out Vintage Audio Nagoya. And again, I think I'm keeping the Acetone, but I'm going to put this up on the site here pretty soon. So if you think you want one of those, it's in pretty good shape. Like I said, I don't think it's had a hard life at all. So anyway, thanks for checking them out. Have a good day. Take care.